Okay, so everyone, it is the 22nd, so that means that we do have a new Paint a Flower. So if you do have the subscription, that means that you should have yours with you, maybe, I'm hoping so. And also, we have some new tools or colours to show you too. So the Paint a Flowers are a really cool set if you do like to do your own colouring. And also for different techniques, you don't necessarily have to use watercolours or pencils or markers with these at all. So I'm going to move you guys down. Hopefully you can, then you can see. And I'm sorry, my dog is scrambling around in the background, so I'm sorry if you can hear her. Okay, so here we go. So here is the fabulous new Paint a Flower sunflower. So as you can see, we've got a huge bouquet of beautiful sunflowers. I did forget to say, if you do share this live stream, you are in with a chance of winning a $15 gift certificate to the Altenew store. Sorry, it didn't transition, but we're down there now. Sorry, everyone. Okay, so this is the Paint a Flower sunflower. And as you can see, we have a bouquet of beautiful sunflowers there, and we have some really great sentiments around here too. Some of them are quite small, so if you have a really small gap to fit your sentiment into, this is going to work perfectly. So as well as this today, we also have released some watercolor pencils, and I will be swatching these out so you can see all of the colors. I have them here, but I did want to show you how I created this. Okay. Okay, so I've got a bit of light going on the side, which is good. I'm just going to move you guys up a tiny touch. So, with watercolor pencils, there are a number of ways that you can use them. So you can use them directly from the nib, which they don't normally recommend with wood pencils because they can start to rot. But because these are woodless, you can definitely take the ink or the pigment from the top of the pencil. So we have 24 colours in here, and they are very, very pretty. So I'm just going to show you how to do a swatch for one of them, and then I'll show you the swatch of all the different colours that you're going to get. So I'm just going to grab one out. And all you're going to want to do is, to create your little swatch, is just colour a little bit with your pencil. And as you can see that we've got some really vibrant colour down there. Then take your wet paintbrush and just pull that colour out. Not wet enough. And you can see it's going to leave no lines where you have coloured in, and the colour is just beautiful. So there you go. You can also take the colour from the nib itself. So I've just got a wet paintbrush, and you can just take the colour from there and then use it as you would a normal colour. You can also maybe scrape off some of this pigment onto a palette and then mix that together to create your own watercolours that way as well. So a number of different ways that you can use these. You also don't need to necessarily use these as watercolours. You could definitely just use these as pencils as well. So I'm going to move that over to the side and let that dry. And I'm going to pop these pencils back in their little pot, which is very cute. And just show you my little swatch here that I have. So these are the colours that you're going to get. You can see that you've got a whole beautiful rainbow here. None of these granulate, so you'll get nice smooth colour with each one of the pencil colours. So we have some reds, oranges, yellows, and a lot of things. Yes, Teresa, I am a very busy lady. So I had a meeting about an hour ago. Then I have this, and then we have another live class, so lots to do. So, and I think I've had 3 lives this week too, so very, very busy. So you can see all the beautiful colours, and we am going to be using the beautiful sunflower today. This is one that I created just using my watercolour palette, but we are going to use the pencils today. Okay, so I'm going to grab some watercolor cardstock, and this is the one from Altenew, and these are so smooth. So these are the ones that are already cut down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this is my favorite watercolor paper at the minute. So it's really, really good, and it is 50% cotton, but really super smooth. You can, it feels like it has a sheen, but it is very, very good. Oh, Teresa, I bet you're not a terrible pencil colorer, but these are gonna help you anyway, because you just pop a little bit of color and then you pull it out. So I will show you that today. So I'm gonna grab my very pretty, sunflowers, and I'm hoping I have my big block out. Yep, I do. So it is a large stamp, so it's not going to fit onto a normal block. So if you do use your MISTI, it will fit on there. But I am a old-fashioned kind of block girl, so I do love my blocks. I'm going to ink this up with the obsidian. Actually, no, I'm not. Okay, I wanted to show you something before I do this, because, you know, I know the obsidian is not in stock, so let's use something that we have, right? Okay, so just clean that off, and I'm just gonna go and grab it. Sorry everyone, I should have had it out. I am gonna use the Jet Black mixed media ink. Now, these are water-based, so I'm going to do it on another piece of paper first. So I'm just going to ink that up. And these are fabulous, okay? So I've just inked it up, and I can stamp that onto some watercolor paper. I'm not going to worry if I don't get this stamp perfectly, okay? Ooh, Penny! Halloween cards. I haven't made any of those. So I'm sorry about me not stamping it perfectly up here, but do not worry. But because this mixed media ink is water-based, that means when I add water to it, it is gonna run. You can see here. And if I was to do my watercoloring directly straight onto that, it wouldn't be great because we would have a lot of black going on. But, okay, if I heat set this, okay, I'm going to heat set the ink up here. Hopefully that's done. But when I heat set, something magical happens. I'm not quite sure what, but now you can see that that is not going to run. So if you don't heat set, you can definitely use the mixed media inks as watercolors. But if you heat set them, you can then use them as your outlines. So I wouldn't necessarily need to use a black for my outline. I could use one of the other colors, but I am going to go with the black today. I just wanted to show you that because I just think it's very clever. So, sorry little obsidian, you're not being used today. We are going to go with the Jet Black mixed media ink. So if you were looking for a kind of an option, because we don't have the obsidian around at the minute, you could definitely get this mixed media ink, and then you can do lots of different techniques with it as well. Okay, so I'm going to ink that up, and then remember we do need to heat set this. I'm just going to stamp in the center. And I'm sorry if I did dribble on a little bit about it then, but you know, it's always nice to have a couple of options. Hopefully I've stamped this correctly. I do feel like I am maybe being a little obsessive with it, but hopefully we are good. So there we go. So we are going to heat set. So if anyone tried our mixed media inks, and what kind of techniques have you done with them as well? I know I should be talking more about the paint a flower, but I've gone off track. Okay, I'm hoping that we are good with that, because we want to make sure. Another way to heat set is to grab a piece of scrap paper, pop it on top, and then use an iron, a dry iron that will heat set it too. Okay, so let's go ahead. I am going to be using the maple yellow, and I'm thinking that the orange cream is going to be nice as well. So all I'm going to do is, I'm not sure if we're going to get a whole card completed because I only have a short and sweet one today. And I'm just going to add a couple of lines into these petals. Okay, so this is the maple yellow. Okay. And then a bit of this orange. I think this is the orange cream. Just a tiny bit round where it would be the dark. Oops. A bit too heavy-handed with my pencils. I should go a little bit lighter. They would thank me. Okay. Thank you, Stacey. Yeah, sometimes I go off on a tangent, but sometimes it is useful information. Okay, I'm going to move you guys down a little bit. We don't need to be all the way up there, I don't think. There we go. So hopefully we can see all the little lines that I've popped in there. You can see that I haven't coloured this completely or properly. I've got my watered brush, and I'm just going to go all over that. And because we've added a lot of that pigment down, we're just going to move it. I'm going to keep taking off some of the colour with off my paintbrush so we can have some lighter areas too. But how cool is that? Really quick and easy. So let's do another one. Again, I'm not really worrying about all the different petals that we have going on. I'm just kind of just getting some colour down where I think it may be the darkest. And again, not worrying. Craft is not about worry. It's about getting rid of worry. So if you're worrying, you know, just lay back, take a little time, and just scribble on some paper. That's what we're doing. Again, that was the maple yellow and the orange cream. And then my paintbrush, and pull that colour out. Thinking that maybe some of these should have been green because this is the back of the sunflower. Oh, and I do love sunflowers. They are so very autumny as well. There we go. There's the other one. I reckon we might be able to finish this, you know. Especially with this messy kind of technique that we have going on. Also, if you did want any more inspiration using this stamp set and the pencils, please check out our blog today because we have a blog hop going on with these beautiful things. Let's pull out that colour, and you can see that it's not leaving any streaks, it's not leaving any like patches where the watercolor pencil was, unless you scrape too hard, maybe like I do, maybe like the papers annoyed you in some way. Okay. And then we have this one over here. You're welcome, Carl. Yeah, I really do love them mixed media inks. I think they're not getting enough exposure, you know? Because if you wanted to do like a no line technique, you could definitely use like the frayed leaf to do the leaves, and then because we have the frayed leaf mixed media, and also we have the frosty pink as well. So if you heat set those and then use those for your outline, you'd get a very, very soft one. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the black you use. You could have coloured outlines, which is really cool. Especially if you wanted like a red one. And also, because they stay wet, you can also use embossing powder over them, which is cool. So I have done all of my flowers, and let's go into the leaves. We have a huge array of these colours. Oh, Stacey, yeah. Sign up for the back in stock, and then as soon as they arrive, you'll be able to get an email to let you know when they are there. I've grabbed 3 colours. I don't know if they're being overzealous, but I think I'm good. So I have a fresh lemon, the limeade. I think that might be a bit too light. I'm going to swap that out for the grass fields and the moss. So I'm going to add the moss, just a strip of that down all of my stems really quick. I'm going to add a scribble of the moss to the base of the petals. Oh, there's another one that I've missed there. I can fill him in later. Scribble to the base where they would be the darkest. And I'm going to add the yellow to the tips. This one was the fresh lemon. As you can see, this is quite easy. I reckon I could get my daughter doing this one. She would be good. And then the grass field in the center of those leaves. And I think I might add some of this down those stems too. Okay, so all these colours are going to mix together. Okay, so my wet brush, I'm going to start with the lightest point. I'm just going to scribble away, get them colours moving. And if you wanted more of a proper watercolour look, you can definitely take those pigments from your pencil itself and then drop it in like you would normally. I think these are great for traveling as well, because they're in a pencil form, so easy to travel with. Also, they dry a lot quicker, I think, because I don't think you tend to use as much water when you're using them like this. I have a piece there that's running around. And I know that you can spend a lot more time at this at home, but I wanted to show you just how quick and easy it can be if you want it to be. Okay, so I'm missing this little flower here, but I'm going to wait till that bit's dry. But I think these are okay to add the centers into. I'm going to go with a brown. I've got a yellow ochre colour, and maybe we darken it up with the Sicilian amber. So I'm going to add the Sicilian amber to, oops. I'm going to be lighter with my pencils. I keep having to blow a lot of them away. And then some of that Sicilian, the yellow ochre. And this little one here. Alright, so you can see that we've coloured that in it. It looks pretty vintagey. What we can do is we can add some extra detail in. I'm just going to heat set. Okay, so then what we can do is we can take one of the pencils and we can use this to add in some extra detail. And what you don't need to do is you don't need to add water onto this. So we can leave this as these pencil strokes. And all I'm doing is I'm just flicking where I think there would be a darker bit. So this one is the Shadow Creek. And I'm going to add a little bit more detail to these petals, just to a few of them, just to darken some of those points up that I feel that are a little bit too light from where they are. And it's amazing how much just a couple of little strokes of a pencil really adds to the depth of the image. So as you can see, I'm just picking a couple of them and just giving a little bit of an extra depth to some. Not all of them, you can definitely spend your time and add them to all of the petals. Okay, and let's add some more darkness to that centerpiece. I had my things and then I've popped them away. Just going to add little darkness around here. I think this one is a bit too light to add my darkness in, but I think we're okay. There we go. If we wanted to add a background, you most definitely can. We have some really pretty colors. So I could either kind of take my pencil and draw around here. Okay, so I've left a little gap. Just take my wet paintbrush, which is actually quite dirty, but we're okay. And then I can pull that colour out. Trying not to touch the rest of the colour, but that's going to give me a really soft look with this colour. I could go darker. This one's the Dewdrops. That's going to give me a really soft look. So I can either do it that way, or I can just take my pencil, really get some pigment going on my little brush, and then use that directly onto my page. So whatever way you want to use them, you can definitely do it that way. I do want to add a sentiment because, you know, what's a card without a sentiment? And we have some really great ones on here. And we have this really beautiful happy and the sunshine. I think that happy is going to fit in there. It's quite wet, but let's dry it off, shall we? I'm going to need you guys up a little bit. Because I'm going to be using that mixed media ink, I want to make sure it's dry before I stamp it, because it will spread out if I don't heat set straight away. with my little happy, which is attached to my finger. Okay, we have happy, and then we have things that we can attach onto it. So, oh, we have you are my happy, so that's what I'm going to go with. You are my, and then we have happy again, my trusty mixed media ink. I'm going to pop him in there. And there we go. Tracer. Mine is a Winsor & Newton Cotman, and it's an 8 round brush. It's quite large. I probably do need a smaller one, but it's one that I've got used to, and it's the one that I keep grabbing. So that's why I use that one. So here we go. Here's my card for today. Here's another one that I did, complete earlier. This one, I think I did use the pencils on this one as well. I'm not 100%, but I didn't add the strokes like I added on this one there. So you can see just how pretty those little strokes really do add to the depth rather than having it flat watercolor like this one. Okay, so I'm going to move you guys up now. Okay. So yeah, those sunflowers are really, really pretty. So thank you everyone for joining me. Sorry it was a little bit of a short and sweet one, but hopefully it has given you a couple of tips and tricks, especially with the fabulous mixed media ink. So if you do are still on the waiting list for the Obsidian and you wanted a black ink that you can watercolor with right away, try that mixed media one out. Just remember to heat set it, and then you're going to be able to watercolor with them. Especially if you wanted a different colored outline, you could use those as well. Yep, Pauline, the watercolor pencils work perfectly for the backgrounds and also to add those little details to images that you've already colored as well. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you again next week. See you really soon. Bye-bye.